10, 9, 8,
Launch auto sequence has
7,
started.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go for launch.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed.
Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
Hello everyone, my name is Atticus Vadera and I'm a propulsion engineer here at SpaceX. I'll be your host for today's Starlink mission, which marks SpaceX's 36th launch of the year and 235th overall
Falcon
mission
9
to date.
tanks are pressurizing for strong back retract.
On your screen is a live view of our Falcon 9 rocket at Space Launch Complex 4 East in California. We are awaiting a liftoff at 11:02 p.m. Pacific time. If you've been following along, you might know that Dragon and the Axiom 2 crew undocked from the International Space Station early this morning and splashed down just about 12 hours later at 8:04 p.m. Pacific time, just off the coast of Panama City. And that was about 3 hours ago. We hope the Axiom 2 crew had a great journey to and from the ISS on board Dragon. Now switching back to the West Coast for our Starlink mission at T-minus 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Weather is currently green and the range is ready to support. The teams are currently tracking no issues with the vehicle or with the spacecraft. Just below the fairing there, you can see the clamp arms have completely opened up. After the arms are completely open, you will see the strongback move away from the rocket. The strongback, also referred to as the TE or transporter erector, is that large structure that you see next to the Falcon 9. So you can see on your screen that strongback is now leaning away from the vehicle in preparation for liftoff. Coming up next at T-minus 3 minutes, we should hear that Stage 1 has completed its liquid oxygen loading.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
And there we go. At T-minus 3 minutes, the Falcon 9 first stage is now fully loaded with RP1 and liquid oxygen. Now we're just awaiting the completion of liquid oxygen loading on the second stage, which should wrap up about 45 seconds from now. Those white clouds you see around the vehicle are the chilled gas above the LOX tank liquid surface that we vent overboard. This helps us to maintain pressure in the tank as needed. And when this cold gas comes into contact with the California air, the humidity and moisture in the air condenses to form those clouds. Coming up on liquid oxygen loadout completion in just about 13 seconds on the second stage. The booster, or first stage of the rocket that you see on your screen, is flying for the 14th time today, having previously supported Crew 1, Crew 2, Sirius XM-8, CRS-23, IXPE, Transporter 4.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Just heard LOX loading is now complete on Stage 2. The rest of those missions are Transporter 5, Globalstar FM15, ISI EROS C-3, and 4 other Starlink missions. After liftoff and stage separation, this booster is scheduled to land on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. And coming up next, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9 is in startup, which means the flight computers have taken control of the launch countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
We just heard that call out. Falcon 9 is now in startup. In a few seconds, we should hear our launch director, or LD, give the final go for launch.
LD is go for launch.
There you have it, folks. The launch director has given the final go to proceed for launch. So let's sit back and watch as Falcon 9 takes our 52 Starlink satellites into space.
T-minus 30 seconds. Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff of Starlink 2-10. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
At T plus 33 seconds, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California at 11:02 p.m. Pacific Time. The next major milestone coming up is Max Q.
Power and telemetry is nominal.
Max Q is when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of external stress as it ascends through the Earth's atmosphere.
Vehicle supersonic.
Just heard a call out that Falcon 9 is now traveling faster than the speed of sound. Coming up next, we should hear that call out for Max Q. And there's that call out, which again is when the rocket experiences the largest amount of external stress. We are about 1 minute away from a series of events.
MVAC engine chill has started.
Those events are MECO, or main engine cutoff, stage separation, SES1, or second engine start 1, and then fairing separation. MECO is where all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage will shut down. Stage separation is when the first and second stages physically separate, and SES1, or second engine start 1, is when we light the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. Following that is fairing separation, which is when the 2 fairing halves separate and fall away from the second stage. So let's keep an eye out for those events coming up very shortly.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
And as you just saw and heard over the nets, we did just have successful main engine cutoff, stage separation, and second engine start 1. You should have also seen that we did have successful fairing separation from the second stage. We will be attempting to recover both fairing halves using our recovery vessel Go Beyond. Both of the fairing halves that supported today's mission are flight proven, with one fairing half flying for its 5th time and the other fairing half flying for its 7th time today. Currently, the first stage is on its way back to Earth towards our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. Looks like we don't currently have the video feed, but we are tracking telemetry, which you can see on the bottom left side of your screen of the first stage. And the MVAC engine attached to the second stage is continuing its burn, which should last another 4.5 minutes or so. As a reminder, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations all around the globe. You can see in the bottom right-hand side of your screen, the second stage is now traveling over 11,000 kilometers per hour. The MVAC engine continuing to accelerate our payload into a low Earth orbit.
Vehicle is on a nominal trajectory.
As I mentioned earlier, today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's 235th mission overall and the 36th mission just this year. Coming up next in the mission is the entry burn on the first stage. The entry burn is the first of 2 burns that the first stage will go through in preparation for landing. This burn should start in just about a minute or so. And again, we don't currently have video coverage of the first stage, but we are tracking it in the telemetry you see on the bottom left side of your screen. There you can see on the left side of your screen is a view of the first stage, coming up on entry burn in just around 15 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's that call out for stage 1 entry burn. Stage 1, which we also refer to as the booster, has now ignited 3 engines to slow it down for atmospheric reentry.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there's the call out telling us that the entry burn on the first stage has completed. Coming up next is the landing burn on the first stage, which is the second and the final burn in preparation for landing.
Continues on a nominal trajectory.
You can see the atmosphere is scrubbing off a lot of the first stage's velocity right now.
Saved.
Stage 1 transonic.
And there's the call out that stage 1 is transonic, which means it is traveling near the speed of sound. Coming up on the landing burn in the first stage in just around 20 seconds.
Terminal guidance.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There's the confirmation that stage 1 landing burn has started in preparation for touchdown on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. We should hear the call out for second engine cutoff in just a few seconds.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
This Falcon 9 first stage.
Shutdown.
The Falcon 9 first stage has now successfully launched and landed for the 14th time. And just after landing, we did hear the call out for second engine cutoff
Nominal
1.
Orbit insertion.
And there's the call out for a nominal orbit insertion. Today's landing marks our 196th overall landing of an orbital class rocket, including Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy missions. And with the confirmation of successful first stage landing and second engine cutoff, that will wrap up our coverage for now. Be sure to check our social media for confirmation of Starlink deployment. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.